What's going on everyone? This is Gaurav and welcome to my learning channel. So in today's video, we'll learn about regular expression. We'll get started with what is regular expression, where is it needed, and how to use it in SQL. So without any further delay, let's get started. Before we get started, let's spend a quick minute to understand the structure of the table that we are going to reference for today's conversation. So the table name is ga1.myFirstTable. I have already created this table, so it has four different variables. You have customer ID, customer name, age, and state, and these are all the different data points which is there in the table. Again, I have already created this table, and if you have seen some of my previous video, this is the table that I have been referencing. Now, as you can see that for first 4 or 5 different records, the names are fairly similar. So you have John, Joe, Josh, and Joanne. There is a reason behind it because we are going to use regular expression to query some of these customer names. So first of all, let's take a look at the content of this table, for which we will go ahead and use select star from ga1.myFirstTable. Once I execute the query, as you can see, you have customer ID, customer names, age, and state for all of the customers who are there in this table. Now let's say that I would like to see the content of this table where the name of person starts with JO, which is first 4 records. So you have John, Joe, Josh, and Joanne, and I would like to just stick to these 4 names. Now there are 2 different ways with which you can do that. First of all is your regular expression. Before we dive into the details of regular expression, I would like to also share with you an alternate approach, which is using a like statement. Now, one of the things that I would like to quickly qualify here is that everything that you can do using a like statement can be done via regular expression. However, everything that you can do via regular expression cannot be done via like statement. But your like statement is fairly easy and simple to understand, so I would recommend that you should learn both of them. So this is how your query will look like if you want to look at the content of the table for the customers whose name starts with JO. As you can see that pretty much all the other stuff remains the same. So you have select star from ga1.myFirstTable, but you have a where condition where customer name like, and then you have JO and there is a percentage sign. So this part of the query is telling you that the customer name should have JO as the first 2 letter, and then you can have anything afterwards. So all of these 4 different names, which is John, Joe, Josh, and Joanne, basically qualifies for this, and all of them should be your expected output. So let's take a look at that. First of all, execute this query. Now you can see that you have all the 4 different names. You have John, Joe, Josh, and Joanne. And one other thing to note here is that you can see that for all of these 4 different names, they are of different length. So you have John 4 characters, Joe 3 characters, again Josh is 4, and Joanne is I think 6 characters. Now if you use percentage sign, then it does not care about how many characters come after your first condition is satisfied. So first 2 letters is JO. So essentially you are telling the query that I don't care whatever comes afterwards. So it could be 2 characters, 3 characters, 4 characters, and whatsoever. Now, similar to putting the percentage sign in the end, you can also go ahead and put the percentage sign in the beginning. So for instance, in this query, we are saying select star from this table where customer name like, and then you have percentage O percentage. So what it means is I am telling the query that give me the details for all of the customers where customer name has O as one of the characters in the entire name. The first condition is that there should be some letters before O. Now, I don't care whether it's like 1 letter, 2 letter, or what are the letter conditions, but there should be something. And the second one is similar to the beginning, you should also have some details afterwards. So now let's execute this query. Now, as you can see that these are all of the different names wherever O is coming. Let's go through it one by one. So for all of these first 4 names, you have O, which is coming right after J, and same goes for R as well. But now, as you can see that for all of these 5 instances, there is 1 letter which is coming before O, and there are multiple different letters which is coming after O. So essentially, there are 3 conditions which need to be satisfied. 1, there should be at least 1 O in the entire name. That's condition number 1. The second condition is there should be something before O. And the third condition is there should be something after O. So hopefully this gave you a good idea about how to use a like condition with a percentage sign. Now let's look at another variation of like statement, which is like statement along with an underscore sign. So let's take a look at this query. So you have select star from this table where cust name like JO underscore. So it's kind of very similar to this particular query, but the only difference is here it was JO percentage sign and here it is JO underscore sign. So the difference between percentage sign and underscore sign is percentage sign is essentially telling you that there should be something after JO, but I don't care how many letters it is. It could be 1 letter, it could be 2, it could be 3 or whatsoever, anything whatsoever. However, if we put something like an underscore sign, then it means that I would like to take a look at the customer names which starts with JO and there should be something right afterwards, and the length of that something should be just 1. So it could be 1 number, 1 character, or anything, but the length has to be just 1. So let's execute this query and let's take a look at the output. Now, as you can see that now you have just 1 record, which is Joe. So for Joe, the name starts with J-O, and then you have just one letter, which is E right afterwards. Now you could also use underscore multiple times. So in this instance, you have select star from this table where name like J-O, but now you have underscore, which is written twice. So what it means is that I would like to take a look at the customers whose name starts with J-O, and it can have anything afterwards, but the length should be just 2. I think it will be cust underscore name. Let me just quickly rectify that. Let's execute this query. Now, as you can see that now you have two customers. So you have John and Josh. So both of these have 4 letters, and both of them starts with J-O, and then it has 2 letters afterwards, which is HN and which is SH. Now, as you can see that you don't see Joe anymore because Joe is just 3-letter words. And here we would like to have something which has 4 letters. So hopefully this gave you a good idea about how to use percentage sign and underscore sign along with like statement. Now let's try to do all of these things with regular expression. So the way to write regular expression in SQL is that first of all, you will go ahead and write your query just exactly the way how it is, which is everything before where statement. So you have select star from ga1.myFirstTable, where customer name, and then you have this new statement called regexp, which is nothing but a short form for regular expression. And then afterwards, you have this exponential sign and then followed by JO. So first of all, let's try to execute this query just to see like what is the output. Now, once you execute it, you can see that you have customers with the name John, Joe, Josh, and Joanne. So it seems like based on this query, you have all of these customers whose name starts with JO, but afterwards it could be anything. So you don't care about the length. So you should have at least one letter after JO, but JO should be right in the beginning. So this query is doing exactly the same what this particular query was doing, which is select star from this table where custom name like JO and then percentage sign. Now this might look a little bit counterintuitive because over here it was fairly simple to understand. You have JO, which is the starting of the name, and then percentage sign afterwards. And over here you also have JO, but then you have this new sign, but it is coming right before. But unfortunately, that's the way how regular expression is being written. So if you would like to take a look at the customer names, which starts with JO, and then it should have, and then it could have potentially anything afterwards, you will have to write this exponential sign right in the beginning. Similarly, you could also write a query to take a look at the customers whose customer name has OE at the end. So let's first of all execute this query just to take a look at the output. Now over here, you just have one customer, which is Joe. So again, pretty much everything looks very similar as compared to what you had in the previous query. The only difference is this last section, which is regular expression, and then afterwards you have OE, and now you have a dollar sign. So essentially what this is telling you is that the name should end with OE and it can have whatever in the beginning. So once again, the way to write regular expression is a little bit different as compared to what you would do for like statement. In like statement, you will always write the characters for which you would like to do the filter, and then afterwards you will have a percentage sign if you want to have any additional details after JO character, as compared to regular expression, where if you want to query for the customers where you have some additional detail right in the beginning of the name, then you will write it afterwards, and this is a percentage sign. On the flip side, if you want to query the customers whose name starts with JO but could potentially end with anything else, then you will go ahead and write this exponential sign right in the beginning. Now this is where I would like to take a quick pause. Now as you can see, that the exact same task can be done by percentage sign and then your regular expression as well. But regular expression essentially gives you a lot more flexibility. So you can do a lot more with regular expression, and we'll take a look at some of those query right now. But with that said, as you can see, that percentage sign is a little bit easier to understand. You don't have to remember additional signs. You just need to remember like one thing, which is your percentage sign. And then that is also fairly intuitive and easy to understand. So this is why I told you that you should have a good understanding of both percentage sign along with like and underscore sign along with like, and then your regular expression. Now let's take a look at some of the additional example for regular expression. So in this query, again, pretty much everything looks fairly similar to the earlier queries, but the only difference is now you have JO, and then there is a pipe function, and then you have SH. So first of all, let's execute this query just to see the output. Now you have John, Joe, Josh, and Joanne. So this pipe function is nothing but an OR condition. So what this query is telling you is that get me the name of all the customers where you have JO in the name, or which is your pipe function, it should have a SH in the name. So let's go through it one by one. So John has JO in the name, and that's why it qualifies for it. Joe again has JO. That's why it again qualifies for it. Josh again, same, JO qualifies for it. Joanne again, same thing, JO. That's why it qualifies for it. So now the only exception being Josh, because here both the conditions are satisfied, which is JO and SH. So to summarize, if you want to use the OR condition, then you can potentially go ahead and use regular expression along with this pipe function. Now let's take a look at a few more examples from regular expression. So in this query, you have a big bracket and then you have J dash O dot E. And then again, pretty much, and again, you can see that both J dash O and E is coming in your big bracket. So let's first of all execute this query just to see the content. Now over here, you have Joe and Joanne as output. So essentially this query is telling you that get me the details for all of the customers who should have two conditions satisfied. The condition number one is that you should have one letter between J and O and both of them included as one letter in the entire name. And the second condition is that you should also have E as one of the letter in the customer names. So both of these conditions need to be satisfied, and that's you have a dot operator. So let's take a look at the example. So you have JOE. Now, as you can see that it does have J, so first condition is satisfied, and it also has E. So that's why second condition is also satisfied. Again, similarly, you have Joanne. So the first condition is satisfied, and then you also have E here as a part of Joanne. That's why second condition is also satisfied. Now, if you remember, you had some of the additional names like Josh. Now, Josh is not coming out as an output because the second condition, which is E, is not satisfied. So that's why if you write a query like this, then both of the conditions should be satisfied. Dot operator is essentially telling you that this is the condition number one and this is the condition number two. And unless both of these conditions are satisfied, you should not have an output. Now imagine if you have to do something like this, at least the last two examples with a like statement, you can potentially do it, but it will be very, very complicated. And that's why regular expression is fairly powerful tool when it comes to writing a complicated queries where you will have multiple conditions, which is based off of characters or numbers. So that's why you should have like a strong grasp of both regular expression and like statement. Hopefully this gave you a good idea about what is regular expression and how to use it in SQL. With that said, I must say that I have just scratched the surface of regular expression. If you want to have a very good understanding, please do check out their documentation. In our next video, we'll learn about group by statement, how to use it in SQL. Thank you so much for learning with me. Have a great day.